that when they landed in Philadelphia, the British confiscated all of their housewares because they were made in Switzerland. They weren't made in Britain. And as a result of that, they learned very quickly to change their name from Gerster to Castor, make it sound more British, not quite as German, so that they would be more quickly accepted in the American colonies. That George Castor, or Hans-Georg Gerster, was one of the 3 charter members of that church. And then it became a Presbyterian church maybe 20 or 30 years later. Well, because the British took all of his housewares away from him, he had to borrow money from a wealthier Swiss person, and he invested wisely. He worked hard. He eventually bought a farm, and that became a rather well-known farm, the Castor Farm, which was at the end of what is now Castor Avenue in Philadelphia. And that he died a fairly wealthy man. I don't mean phenomenally wealthy, but when you consider that he came to this country and started with nothing, he was a very, very successful businessman. Well, several years ago, I don't remember where it was, but I made the comment that the Lord is faithful to his people. And he has been faithful to the Castor family for generations. Hans-Georg is my 9th great-grandfather. And I'm in the 9th generation from Hans-Georg Castor. And every family has their good kids and their bad kids, but for the most part the Castors have had good kids. There have been families where every child, all the children, were missionaries. And so the heritage that we have in Christ becomes a very significant component of what it means to be a Castor. And hopefully, my prayer would be that that continues into future generations. It will be harder for future generations because America is no longer the Christian nation that it once was 50 years ago, and certainly not 100 years ago. And so it will become harder to be a Christian and to be recognized as a Christian. But my hope and my prayer is that future generations will, by the grace of God, continue the legacy that we have received from our forebears.